Okay, good morning. Good morning, good morning. I am just now leaving the doctor's office this morning. So let me kind of just go back and tell y'all a little bit about what's happening. I don't know if I was like really clear on what's been happening. I know I had mentioned that my water had broken, but what the diagnosis was, is PROM. It's called PROM. It's Premature Rupture of Membranes. And so with that comes, leakage. And from what I have been researching, some women have to wear pads every day to catch the water, and so forth. So what I experienced was, of course, water leakage, and I immediately knew something was wrong. And so that's when, I went to the hospital initially, and it's very, very, very extremely emotional time. So I did my research. Excuse me. Indigestion. So I did my research on what this was. And, doctors, can I just say, the doctors have been very grim on, very grim and more really scientific stats, numbers, throughout this whole process. But I never accepted what they told me. Let me just tell you about what it's like to have faith over listening to what anybody has to say. I know that they have to do their job, and I know they have all these numbers, and I know that they have to tell you all of the risk, and they have to tell you all the complications and things of that nature. And so when I'm at the hospital, they're like, okay, well, here's the plan. We'll admit you at 23 weeks, right? And pretty much, you'll stay in the hospital pretty much bedridden until you give birth. And so that has been the case. And so because of that, looming date, I have been on bed rest. I put myself on bed rest. They didn't put me on bed rest, but I did put myself on bed rest because if anyone knows me, I move and I'm always on the go. I've always been this way. I'm always doing something. And so this has been a really, really huge challenge for me over the last 3 weeks of slowing down. And so I call this chapter of my life Rest. Because, I remember even, right at the early stages of my pregnancy, my daughter, she's 8, she says, Mom, and I swear she has the most wisdom. She says, Mom, you've got to take care of yourself. You've got to take care of yourself. You have to, she goes, did you take a nap today? Did you rest? Did you take a nap? And so I go, okay, Macy. All right. And so I listened, right? And then after this happening, it was all right, I've really got to rest. And so first and foremost, I have got to give a huge shout out to my family, to my husband and my daughter, because without them, and I'm going to start crying, but without them, I don't know what I would have done. My parents, my brothers, my family, all have been extremely supportive. Especially my friends, have been extremely supportive throughout this process. And that's a really big thing, is to have some sort of a support system, whether they're blood or not. And I am extremely thankful for all of them for coming to help, during this entire time. And it's very emotional for me because, and this is a happy cry. It's a cry of gratitude, to have them around me, these beautiful spirits, these beautiful souls. And so, during my research, I found, that the amniotic sac that holds the baby and the water and placenta, all that stuff in the uterus, it's made of collagen, right? So I found this foundation called the PROM Foundation, where they give you this particular regimen, where, you bed rest, nothing entering in the area, making sure that you're taking your temperature, that you're not getting a fever because that's a sign of infection, no bleeding, things of that nature. And thank God I haven't had any bleeding. But, it has been a very kind of looming time. And so once I initially got over that overwhelming fear of doom and gloom, I was like, wait, you have got to snap yourself out of this, right? And you've got to push forward. And because I am human, although I am very spiritually in tune, I had to allow myself to feel those human emotions, right? I had to allow myself to feel the sadness, to feel the mild depression, and go through it. But I didn't stay there for long, because that's just not me. That's not who I am. I don't stay down for long. But I do allow myself to go through that, because I know that once I go through that, I can get out on the other side. And so that's what's been happening. I think I was like almost 18 weeks going into that at that point. So now I am a little bit over 21 weeks. And again, the initial diagnosis was to be checked into the hospital in a couple of weeks. And so because of that, my tribe came to the rescue, especially being self-employed. It's like, okay, I've got to stock up on supply. I've got to get everything bottled up, and a huge shout out to, again, already my family, but my friends who've come to the rescue and say, all right, what do we need to do? I got one of my best friends coming from a couple hours away, every other week to help, packaging up, stocking. That has been the goal, is stocking up on things, because if I had to go into the hospital, my husband nobody knows how to make the products, right? And I'm okay with doing this whole overdrive thing, because I know a lot of what I make, energy goes into it, which is why it works. And so anyway, but during this time, my assistant, Maddie, she says, I know someone who can help you spiritually, as far as, hypnosis, not regression, but hypnosis, and going to the Temple of Divinity for healing. And I said, okay. So this is me going back to my roots of just pure basic spirituality, and of course having my Orishas present, but this was something aside from them. And I said, okay, I've been looking for someone that, that I could work with, that completely did not know anything that I was going through. And so she brings it to my attention, and I said, well, Maddie, this is the universe coming forth, and you're bringing me this information to contact this person, and this is what I asked for. And so she was like, oh, well, good, I'm so glad, I mentioned it. And so I'm going to put his information down. But so let's see here. Since the diagnosis, I've had 3 separate instances where I felt fluid come out. And the last time that I had fluid come out was right before my appointment with Taurus. And he is absolutely amazing. He guided me through this whole hypnosis session. Right. And I went to this place. It was an absolutely beautiful experience, a beautiful healing experience. I remember some parts, some parts I don't, but I do remember crying, and I do remember just the pure essence of angelic spirits helping and healing during this whole process. And so so that was a couple of weeks ago, and since then I haven't had any more leakage. And so I've been talking to some of my friends and my husband. I say, what, when I go back into the doctor, I know that we're healed. I know that me and the baby are healed, and that they're going to tell me, and this is my intuition and talking, and I say, I know that when we go into the doctor on this next checkup, they're going to say, well, you're doing good, right? And you don't need to really be in the hospital right now. So this is what I'm hearing before I have to go to my appointment. Well, again, just backtracking, even today, the ultrasound lady, before I saw the doctor, she says, well, there's nothing that you can really do, to heal this. And then my last appointment with the doctor, he said, Are you sure you don't want to terminate and start over? And that pissed me off. I wasn't sad. I was pissed off at that point. And I was like, okay, I don't want to see you again because there's just so many things wrong with that. There's just so many things wrong with that statement. Right. Like, no, I'm not starting over. I'm not going to terminate my pregnancy and start over. I'm 38 years old. This is a living being inside of me that deserves a chance. Like, there's just so many levels to that. And so I said, screw anything and everything that they're saying. I don't care what they say. And they tell me, again, there's nothing you can really do, but you don't know who I am. You don't know what my faith is, and you don't know what my belief is. So I have this healing session on top of making sure that my nutrition is up to par. The sack is made of collagen. I've upped my collagen intake. Before all of this, I used to study functional nutrition, which is essentially healing the body with nutrition, right? Healing the body with nutrition and less medicine, less, scientific involvement. And I go today and I see the other specialist. And because I told you I did not want to see that other guy anymore. And I see the other specialist, and he's just like, wow, you have a lot of water in there. I don't know that I really want to admit you into the hospital. And he says, he was like, let's just keep checking, check every couple of weeks where you come in. Just pretty much, I think you resealed up. And I knew this when I came to the appointment. I knew that was what was going to be the case. I've been talking to me, my womb, my baby, ever since that healing session, just reassuring and speaking to my baby, saying, we're healed. We're healed. There's nothing else that can come from this other than being healed. And that's how strong my faith, my determination, and my understanding of how energy and the body and the mind, how all of it works together, that screw anything that they have to say, we are healed. And so I'm just so incredibly thankful that what I heard prior to matches what happened today. And so that's my update. For the next, few weeks, just got to continue to monitor where I am, doing what I've been doing, right? And making sure that my child is delivered safely, healthy. And, they've been moving around quite a bit in there. I swear, the baby's been doing like cartwheels and stuff. Even now, at a pound. Yeah. So, I know I had placed some updates saying that, I may be going into the hospital. But, I mean, realistically speaking, there could be that option. But I really, really and truly don't think that's going to happen. I think, and I know that they're going to continue to just monitor me closely, and I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing. Still have, all the help that I have coming in and helping me still to stock up, because and orders will still be going out, a little bit slower, only because I have to rest and make sure that this child is delivered into the world safely, because that's what it is. So I'm not going to go over 15 minutes. I appreciate each one of you for sticking with me through this whole entire process. And I'll continue to bring more and more updates as I know. We have to have a gender reveal video. I don't think I've said the gender. Hopefully not. But we'll do a gender reveal video here sometime soon. But, just always follow your instinct, follow your gut, follow your spirit. I don't care what anybody says. Always follow who you are. And I love each and every one of you all, and I will see you soon, okay? Bye-bye.